Hey friends, it's January. We're only a few days in, but I'm guessing you've probably heard and made your share of New Year's resolutions. Well, let me assure you, I'm not trying to talk you into making any more. What I would love to do, though, is to help you follow through. If you're a musician at any level, even just starting out, you already know you're going to have to practice. Singing, playing, arranging, composing, even listening. They all need to be practiced if you're going to make it to the next level. But these days, who's got the time? Between meetings and homework and classes, hobbies, recitals, sports, family obligations, and the expectations of friends or employers, or both, we can feel like we don't have any room to breathe. Today, as this new year begins, I'd like to offer some hope in the form of strategy and a tool. It's an approach my students adopt, at least the ones who want to succeed, because it works, and it can help you too. We call the tool Finding the Time. A quick reminder before we dive in. If you find these videos helpful, hit the like and subscribe buttons and turn on notifications. We've got much more to talk about to help you take your next steps in music. All right, let's jump in. Here we are on our weekly calendar, a 7-day grid in half-hour increments from 6:30 to 11 p.m. Those times work for most of us. We'll start with a typical high schooler's schedule. This is for demonstration purposes only, so we realize everyone's life is a little different, so each person will need to look at the details of their own schedule. First, we'll block off essential activities in the student's life. When does she get up in the morning? Well, let's say weekdays at 6:30. It's probably in reality more like 6. When does she go to bed? If she's got school the next day, I'm going to say 10. And again, adjust these to fit the realities of your own life. When does she eat supper during the week? As a default, we'll say 6. And on the weekend, breakfast at 8:30, lunch at 12:30, supper at 6. What time does she get home from school? Where I live, high school students get home about 2:30. Now, what appointments, meetings, obligations does she have week to week? Let's say she's currently in 2 after-school activities. So say Tuesdays and Thursdays, she gets home at 3:45. Does she have a part-time job? Is she involved in rehearsals for a school musical or for community theater? And don't forget to mark off that music lesson time. Let's say her lesson is on Mondays at 5. Next, we'll label those activities that are necessary but flexible. Things like household chores. When does she clean her room? Maybe she makes dinner on Wednesday nights. And of course, that means her brother would be doing the cleanup, right? And some meals aren't always at the same time. Make a guess here. Remember, this is all written on paper, not in stone. It's flexible. Does she spend time with grandparents or aunts and uncles regularly? How about walking the dog? Does she do martial arts? One major concern, of course, is doing homework. More on that in just a minute. Now here at Casetunes, we recognize the fact that all work and very little play makes for a tired and grumpy student. So it's really important that we include some regular blocks of time for doing fun things too, like spending time with friends, watching those shows that she really likes to watch, gaming online, hiking, skiing, any other activity that she knows she's going to do every week, just because it's fun. So let's include her regular get-together with friends on Fridays, hiking or rock climbing on Saturdays, and Sundays she uses to catch up on 3 different shows on Netflix. We'll give that 2.5 hours. So after all this step-by-step triage of life's activities, what shakes out as the best time for you to practice? Well, let's take a look. For the high school student, it's right when you get home. And on weekends, it's as soon as you can after you get up in the morning. Let's take a closer look at this homework thing for just a minute. On any given day, a high schooler can have anywhere from an hour to 4 or 5 hours of homework. You don't know until they assign it that day how much they're going to have. I hear from my students about how homework competes with and often squeezes out their practice. So I've got an idea for you to consider. Homework time really needs to be open-ended, but practice time does not. For a high schooler, half an hour a day is a decent amount of time to practice. You can set a timer, and when that time is up, it's up. You can put your instrument away and feel great about the practice session you just got in. So my advice for the high schooler is, when you get home from school each day, practice right then, before the discretionary part of your day kicks in. Well, okay, hit the fridge first, absolutely, but then get practicing. Then when you're done, tackle your homework. And whether you have 45 minutes of homework or 3 hours, you've still taken that important step of getting to your daily practice. And that strategy really works. This strategy also works well for the middle schooler. Their homework continually ramps up. And this can also work for the elementary student, even though they aren't experiencing the weight of daily homework for the most part. Their days can get full of friends and activities that steal away prime practicing time. Important activities, to be sure. But if you put practice right after school or first thing on the weekend mornings, the rest of their day is freed up for everything else. Now, for the adult who's working full time, you might have the option of practicing on your lunch break or in the evening after the kids have gone to bed. One advantage adults have in general over children is that they can concentrate longer. So even if you can't practice every day, you can still practice several times a week, but for longer sessions, say 45 minutes to an hour. Now, if you're a disciplined morning person, I don't understand how you can be a musician at all, but let's say you're a disciplined morning person, you might even decide to get up earlier and practice before your day kicks in. For the music student who's already retired, my advice is pretty similar to everything else we've been talking about today. The time you'll be most successful at getting in regular practicing is first thing in the morning, before your day really takes off. The retirees I know are generally busier than they were when they had jobs and careers. Couple that with family obligations, maybe medical appointments, the day fills up pretty quickly. Practice first thing, then the rest of the day is yours. And you've already gotten in that important practice time. Even for Next Step musicians, every week is still 168 hours, and it will be for the foreseeable future. Make a thoughtful, intelligent plan for practicing, and you'll make progress. The time is there. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.